There's a sentence people say when life feels heavy. Sometimes they say it out loud. Sometimes they only say it in their head. I'll handle it later. I'll fix it next month. When things calm down, I'll get serious. It sounds mature. It sounds responsible. It even sounds like hope. But in money, that sentence is often the beginning of the same cycle repeating. Because later feels like a safe place. Later feels like you'll have more energy. Later feels like you'll have more time. Later feels like the better version of you will show up and take over. And that's what makes it dangerous. It's a comforting story, but it's not a system. Let me tell you about Priya. Priya is smart. Priya is capable. Priya handles a lot. If you look at her life from the outside, you would think she has it together. But inside, Priya has one pattern. When money feels stressful or confusing, she delays. Not because she doesn't care, because she's tired. She tells herself, I'm just not in the mood to deal with this right now. So she pushes it forward. Not forever, just for later. The first time she does it, it feels like relief, like taking a heavy bag off her shoulders. She tells herself, I'll deal with it on the weekend. Then the weekend comes and she's exhausted. So she says, okay, next week. Next week comes and something else happens. A busy day, a family thing, a surprise. Then she says, next month I'll reset. And that is how the future me lie works. It turns into a lifestyle, a life of reset promises, a life of soft delays, a life where your plan is always starting soon. And here's what makes this so painful. Priya doesn't feel like she's doing something wrong. She feels like she's being practical because she thinks the problem is that she needs more time and more calm. But the truth is, money doesn't wait for calm. Money grows wild when you delay. This is what most people don't understand about delayed money decisions. A delayed decision doesn't stay the same size. It grows. It picks up fear. It picks up shame. It picks up more consequences. So what started as a small task becomes a heavy emotional thing. And once it becomes emotional, you avoid it even more. So Priya keeps living in this strange fog, not broke in the dramatic way, just always behind, always catching up, always feeling like her life is one step away from being exposed. Now let me show you the 6 signs that prove future me will fix it is running your money. Sign 1. You keep promising yourself a reset month. You say things like, next month will be better, next month I'll start tracking, next month I'll stop overspending. And you genuinely mean it. But notice what that promise does. It pushes responsibility into the future without changing anything today. It's like telling yourself, I'll get healthy next month, while eating the same meals, sleeping the same way, living the same life. It's a comfort sentence, not a plan. Sign 2. You have open loops everywhere. An open loop is an unfinished money decision. Something you meant to do but didn't close. Cancel a subscription, compare a price, stop a leak, make a payment plan, fix a budget line, track where money keeps going. Open loops don't look dangerous. They look small, but they create mental noise. They sit in your head like background stress. And when your head is full, your spending gets worse because you start buying relief. Sign 3. You keep doing temporary fixes. Priya would move money around, patch a problem, delay a payment, borrow from next week, make a quick adjustment. And temporary fixes feel smart in the moment. But temporary fixes become your normal. And when temporary becomes normal, your life becomes unstable because you're always reacting, never designing. Sign 4. You avoid looking too closely. This one is emotional. Priya didn't want to open her account history or look at her spending pattern, not because she didn't care, but because she didn't want to feel the emotion that comes with it. She didn't want to feel regret. She didn't want to feel shame, so she avoided clarity. But clarity is the only thing that breaks cycles. Avoiding the truth doesn't protect you. It delays your freedom. Sign 5. You depend on perfect future behavior. This is the biggest lie inside the lie. Priya's plan depended on a future version of herself being calmer, more disciplined, more focused, less emotional, less tired. But that person is not real. Future you is still you, with the same nervous system, the same life, the same stress. So when the plan requires perfection, it collapses the moment life becomes normal again. Sign 6. You feel tired before you even start. Priya would sit down to finally fix her money and feel overwhelmed immediately. That's because she wasn't fixing one thing. She was carrying a pile of delayed decisions, so even starting felt heavy, and that heaviness made her quit before she even began. That's the future me trap. The longer you delay, the harder the start feels. And the harder the start feels, the longer you delay. Now here's the part that changes everything. The problem is not that Priya is irresponsible. The problem is not that she needs to try harder. The problem is that she is using delay as a coping mechanism. Delay helps her feel better right now, but it makes her life worse later. And later always arrives. So let's do the contrast. People who stay stuck aren't always earning less. They aren't always worse people. They're often people living with one habit. They leave money decisions open. They don't close loops. They carry later like a plan. But people who become stable do something different. They don't wait for the perfect month. They don't wait for motivation. They don't wait for calm. They create calm by closing small loops. They treat money like a system of doors, not emotional chaos, not moral failure, a system. And the biggest system upgrade is simple. Stop giving future you unpaid work, because that's what future me will fix it really is. It's unpaid work assigned to your future self. You're sending tasks forward with no schedule and no limit. So the future becomes a crowded room. And eventually you walk into that room and panic because it's full of everything you avoided. Priya had a moment that changed her. It wasn't a big disaster. It was a quiet moment. She realized she was spending her life preparing to start, always planning, always hoping for the reset. And she said something honest. I'm tired of promising myself things and breaking them. That was the emotional shift. Not guilt, not shame, just honesty. She stopped calling it later. She started calling it what it was, delay. And once she named it, she could change it. So here is the simple money rule for this video. Simple money rule. If you say, I'll fix it, you must attach a date and a number today. Not a big plan, not a full reset. A date and a number. That's it. A date answers, when will I do this? A number answers, what is the smallest move I can finish? Because small finished actions beat big imaginary plans. Every time. Here's how Priya used it. She didn't try to fix her entire money life in one night. She picked one loop, one, the smallest one that kept bothering her, and she gave it a date. Not sometime, a real date. Then she gave it a number, a small number, not perfect, just finishable. For example, she didn't say, I'll save a lot. She said, on Friday, I will move a small amount into a buffer. Not because the amount was magical, but because she needed to practice closing loops. She didn't say, I'll stop spending. She said, tonight, I will list the 3 biggest leaks I can see. Just list them. No shame, no drama, just visibility. And here's what happened when she did that. She felt lighter, not because everything was fixed, but because something was finished. When you finish one loop, your brain calms down, because your brain hates open endings. It hates unfinished business. It treats it like danger. So finishing creates peace. Now here's the deeper truth. Wealth is not only built by earning more, wealth is built by keeping promises to yourself. Because when you trust yourself, you stop living in panic. You stop living in delay. You stop living like money is something that happens to you. And this is why future me will fix it is so expensive. It destroys self-trust. Every time you promise and delay, your brain learns, I don't follow through. And once your brain learns that, motivation drops, confidence drops, and money choices get worse. So the goal is not to become perfect. The goal is to become reliable to yourself, one small closed loop at a time. If you're listening to this and you know you've been living in delay, don't insult yourself. Don't call yourself lazy, just do the rule. Date and number. One loop. This week. Then another next week. You're not trying to become a new person overnight. You're building a new pattern. And when the pattern changes, the whole life changes. If this shifted something for you, subscribe. This channel is for people who are done living in that loop. If this hit you, the next video is about the comparison tax, and it's worse than people think.